Lena stepped off the small shuttle and took a deep breath. The air on Alaris was fresh, tinged with the scent of wildflowers and rain. She looked around with wide eyes. The planet was more beautiful than she had imagined. Tall trees with shining leaves stood like giants, and strange plants glowed softly in the shade. In the distance, she could hear the sound of water falling clear and bright. She was part of a small team from Earth, sent to explore this new world. But Lena wanted to do more than just explore. She wanted to understand the life here, to learn about the creatures and plants that made this place special. She was kind and curious, with a heart that felt strongly for others. Her friends often said she had a way of making even the shyest creature feel safe. Her mission was to collect samples and take notes, but her real goal was something deeper. She had heard stories from the people of Alaris, stories about a magical place called the Crystal Waterfall. It was said that the waterfall was not only beautiful but also held powers beyond understanding. Many believed it could connect souls or reveal hidden truths. Lena felt a quiet pull inside her whenever she thought of the waterfall. Today, she would try to find it. She packed her small bag, filled with tools and a notebook, and started walking along the narrow path through the forest. The sunlight broke through the branches in bright patches, and the soft sound of water grew louder. She stopped to look at a flower with sparkling petals and gently touched it. The petals felt cool and soft, unlike anything she had seen before. As she moved deeper, the trees grew taller, and the air felt cooler. Birds with shining feathers sang songs she couldn't understand but liked very much. Lena smiled to herself. She was alone but never lonely here. Suddenly, a soft rustling came from the bushes nearby. Lena froze. She slowly turned her head and saw a pair of glowing eyes staring at her. For a moment, her heart jumped with surprise. The eyes belonged to a small creature covered in smooth scales that shimmered like glass. Lena held out her hand slowly. The creature did not move but watched her quietly. Then, with a small leap, it disappeared into the shadows. Lena felt a strange warmth inside. This world was full of wonders and friends she had not yet met. She walked on, her steps soft on the mossy ground. Soon, she reached a cliff edge. Below, the waterfall poured down in sheets of clear water, shining like crystal in the sunlight. Mist floated up and caught the light, making rainbows that danced in the air. Lena's eyes grew wide. The stories were true. The crystal waterfall was more beautiful than she had imagined. She carefully made her way down the rocky path toward the water. The ground was slippery, but Lena was careful. When she reached the base, she sat on a smooth stone and took out her notebook. The sound of the waterfall was loud but calming. She opened her notebook and began to write about the plants and animals she had seen. But her mind kept wandering to the waterfall itself. It seemed alive in a way she could not explain. Suddenly, she felt a soft touch on her shoulder. She turned quickly but saw no one. The hairs on her arms stood up. She whispered, "Hello." No answer. Lena stood up and looked around. The forest was quiet except for the roar of the water. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a figure step forward from behind a large tree. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like polished crystal. His eyes were calm and deep, shining with a soft blue light. He wore simple clothes made from leaves and fibers, blending with the forest. Lena blinked in surprise. She had never seen anyone like him before. "Hello," she said gently. "I'm Lena, from Earth." The man watched her quietly. Then he nodded slowly. "I am Kale," he said in a soft voice. "I live here, near the waterfall." Lena smiled. "It is beautiful here," she said. "I have heard stories about the waterfall. It is magical." Kale did not speak for a moment. Then he said, "The waterfall holds many secrets. Few outsiders come here." Lena nodded. "I want to learn. I want to understand." Kale studied her for a long time. Then he spoke again, "You are brave to come here." Before she could answer, Lena slipped on a wet stone. She lost her balance and began to fall toward the rushing water. Without thinking, Kale reached out and caught her by the arm. His touch was cool but steady. Lena's heart pounded, but she felt safe. The waterfall seemed to glow softly around them, light sparkling in the mist. When Lena looked into Kale's eyes, she saw something new, a kindness she had not expected. "Thank you," she whispered. Kale nodded, but said nothing more. The sun began to set, painting the sky with colors of pink and orange. Lena knew she would return here tomorrow. Something about this place and about Kale called to her. As she walked back toward the camp, she looked one last time at the crystal waterfall. The light shimmered like a promise. And in her heart, Lena felt the first stirrings of a story just beginning. The next morning, Lena woke early with the soft light of Alaris shining through her small window. The sounds of the forest, the birds, the gentle wind, and the distant rush of the waterfall filled the air. Her heart still beat quickly when she thought about Kale, the strange man with crystal-like skin who had saved her the day before. She dressed quickly and grabbed her notebook. Today, she decided, she would learn more about Kale and the waterfall. Maybe, she hoped quietly, he would let her see the secrets hidden there. The path to the waterfall was cool and peaceful. Lena moved carefully, her boots barely making a sound on the soft earth. The trees seemed taller this morning, and the light that filtered through the leaves made patterns on the ground. As she reached the clearing near the waterfall, Lena saw Kale again. He was standing near the edge, looking down at the water. His shape was still strange and beautiful. The way his skin caught the light made him look like he was part of the waterfall itself. Kale did not notice her at first. Lena took a slow step forward, then another. "Hello, Kale," she said softly. He turned and looked at her. His eyes held the same calm blue light, but this time there was something softer in them, curiosity, maybe, or trust. "Hello, Lena," Kale replied. "You come again?" Lena nodded. "I want to understand. Can you tell me about this place? About the waterfall?" Kale's face stayed calm, but his eyes seemed to hold a quiet sadness. "The waterfall is old. Very old. It holds the memories of the land and the hearts of those who live here." "Memories?" Lena asked, her eyes wide. Kale nodded slowly. "The water is clear, but it shows more than water. It shows truth. Sometimes, it shows what is hidden inside." Lena felt a shiver of wonder. "Can I see it?" Kale looked away, toward the falling water. "It is not for everyone. Only those who are ready." Lena thought about the moment she had almost fallen the day before. Kale had caught her. And then, the waterfall had glowed. Was she ready? She did not know. But she wanted to try. "Please," she said quietly. Kale studied her for a long moment. Then he stepped aside. "Come closer. But be careful." Lena moved toward the waterfall, feeling the mist cool on her skin. The water looked like liquid glass, sparkling as it fell from the cliff above. She reached out and touched the water with her fingers. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the water began to change. Images appeared on the surface, a memory, frozen like a picture. Lena saw a young Kale, smaller and smiling, playing near the waterfall. The water showed other shapes, two faces of creatures she had never seen, shining like stars. Lena pulled back, amazed. "It's like a story," she said. Kale nodded. "The waterfall holds our past. It keeps what we need to remember." Lena looked at Kale with new respect. "And what do you remember?" Kale's eyes grew distant. "I remember a time when the waterfall was brighter. When the world was happier." Lena wished she could understand more. She wanted to help bring back that brightness. But Kale seemed closed off, as if part of him was hidden beneath the calm. She decided to share something with him. "On Earth, we have songs. Music that tells stories and feelings." Lena pulled a small device from her bag and pressed play. Soft music filled the air, gentle and sweet. Kale closed his eyes and listened. When the song ended, he looked at Lena and smiled a small, shy smile. "Your music is beautiful," he said. Lena smiled back, feeling her heart warm. "I will bring more tomorrow." Kale nodded. "I will listen." For a while, they sat quietly, watching the waterfall. Lena felt a strange connection to this place and to Kale. She wanted to know him better, but she also sensed he was waiting for something she did not understand. As the sun climbed higher, the air grew warmer. Lena knew she had to return to camp. She stood up and brushed the dirt from her pants. Kale stood too. "You will come again?" "Yes," Lena said without hesitation. "I want to learn everything." Kale looked at her with a new light in his eyes. "Good. The waterfall waits." Lena began to walk back through the forest, but something made her stop. She turned and saw Kale watching her from the shadows of the trees. She smiled and waved. He nodded and disappeared into the forest. That night, Lena sat by the campfire with her team, but her thoughts were far away at the waterfall, with Kale. She opened her notebook and wrote about the day, about the magic of the water and the strange man who guarded it. Her mind kept returning to the moment when Kale had caught her. She remembered the soft glow, the warmth despite the cold water, and the calm in his eyes. Lena knew this was just the beginning of her story on Alaris. Something powerful was growing between her and the mysterious guardian of the waterfall. And somewhere deep inside, she felt the pull of something greater, a secret waiting to be discovered beneath the crystal light. The next morning, Lena felt a new excitement as she left the camp. The sky was bright, with soft clouds floating lazily across the blue. The forest seemed alive with light, and the gentle hum of nature made her step lighter. She walked the familiar path to the waterfall, her heart beating fast. She had dreamed of this place many times since she arrived, and now it felt like a part of her. When she reached the clearing, Kale was waiting. He stood near the water, as still as the rocks around him. His eyes caught the sunlight and shimmered softly. "Lena," he said quietly, "you come early today." "I want to learn more," Lena replied with a smile. "About you, about the waterfall, and about this world." Kale looked at her with a thoughtful expression. "This world is old. It has many stories. Some are happy. Some are sad." Lena sat on a smooth stone nearby and pulled out her notebook. "I want to hear your stories, Kale. Will you tell me?" Kale nodded. "I will try." He began to speak slowly, his voice gentle like the flowing water. He told her about the Alari, the people who lived on this land long before humans came. They were connected to the world in ways Lena could hardly imagine. Their bodies reflected the light like crystals, and their hearts were tied to the land and the waterfall. The waterfall is a bridge, Kale said. It connects us to the past, and sometimes, to the future. It shows what we hide inside. Lena listened carefully. She felt a deep respect for Kale's world, a world so different but somehow familiar. Then Kale surprised her. Would you like to see what the waterfall shows to me? Lena's eyes brightened. Yes, please. Kale took her hand gently and led her closer to the water. The mist kissed their faces, and the crystal clear water sparkled like diamonds. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then, slowly, the water's surface began to change. Images appeared, shimmering like a dream. Lena saw a small village carved from shining stone, glowing softly in the moonlight. She saw children playing near the waterfall, their laughter filling the air. Then, a vision of Kale as a child appeared, smiling, curious, full of light. But suddenly, the images shifted. Lena saw a dark cloud moving over the village, the light dimming, and faces growing sad. The waterfall showed a time of loss and change. Lena squeezed Kale's hand. What happened? Kale opened his eyes slowly. The world changed. Some left. Some stayed. The waterfall kept their memories. Lena nodded, feeling a sadness she could not explain. Then, she remembered something. Kale, you said the waterfall connects hearts. How does it do that? Kale looked at her, eyes shining with a strange light. When two people are honest with their feelings, the waterfall glows. It shows their truth. Lena's breath caught. Could it be? Was this why she felt drawn here? Why the waterfall had glowed when Kale saved her? She looked at Kale and saw a flicker of hope in his eyes. I want to try, she whispered. Kale hesitated, then nodded. We must be brave. They stood close, near the edge of the waterfall. The mist surrounded them like a soft blanket. Lena's heart beat fast, but she felt safe. Kale took both of her hands in his. His touch was cool but kind, steady and strong. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the waterfall began to glow with a gentle light, like stars shining in the water. The mist sparkled with colors Lena had never seen before. Images appeared this time, not of the past, but of feelings. Lena saw Kale's hope, his fear, his loneliness. Kale saw Lena's dreams, her kindness, and her courage. They saw each other not as human or Ilari, but as two souls reaching out, searching for connection. The light around them grew brighter, filling the air with warmth. When the glow faded, Lena and Kale still held hands. Neither spoke at first. The moment was too full of meaning. Finally, Lena smiled. I think the waterfall knows us. Kale nodded slowly. It is the first time it has glowed like this for an outsider. Lena looked at Kale's eyes, clear and deep. Do you think this means something? Kale hesitated, then said quietly, it means we are connected. But the waterfall's magic is ancient. It can bring joy or change. Lena's heart raced with both excitement and fear. She wanted to understand what this connection meant, but she also knew she was far from home. Kale saw her doubt and said softly, we will learn together. They sat by the water's edge, watching the light fade into the afternoon sun. The waterfall's song was gentle and calm, like a promise. Lena felt a new feeling inside, hope. She knew this was only the beginning of something important, something beyond words. As the day ended, Lena stood to leave, but Kale's hand held hers firmly. Tomorrow, he said, I will show you more. Lena nodded, her heart full. I will be here. She walked back through the forest, the sounds of Ilaris wrapping around her like a soft song. She looked back once, and the waterfall shimmered, as if saying goodbye until tomorrow. That night, as Lena wrote in her notebook, she thought about the glowing waterfall, the stories of Kale's people, and the feeling growing between them. She knew her journey on Ilaris was far from over. There were still many secrets to discover, and her heart was ready to find them all. The sun was just rising as Lena made her way once again through the forest toward the crystal waterfall. The morning air was cool and fresh, carrying the scent of earth and flowers. Her thoughts were full of Kale and the glowing moment they had shared by the water. Something about the waterfall called to her, but she knew there were still mysteries waiting to be uncovered. When she arrived, Kale was already there, standing silently beside the falling water. His crystal-like skin caught the early sunlight, making him seem even more otherworldly. He turned to her with a serious look in his eyes. Lena, Kale said softly. There is something I must tell you today. Something important. Lena's heart quickened. She had learned so much about this world, but she knew there was more beneath the surface. She nodded, ready to listen. Kale took a deep breath and looked at the waterfall. The water holds not only memories but also a great secret. It is part of an ancient power, older than even the oldest tree or stone. Lena felt a chill run through her, but she stayed calm. What kind of power? Kale's eyes searched hers. The crystal dreaming. It is said to be a place where the souls of two beings can meet and become one. Lena's breath caught. Become one. Kale nodded slowly. It is a bond deeper than friendship or family. A connection of heart and spirit. But it is not easy. The crystal dreaming only opens when two hearts are honest and pure. When they accept each other completely. Lena thought about her own feelings for Kale. The strange pull she felt whenever she was near him. Could this be what the waterfall was trying to show her? Kale continued, no Ilari has ever opened the dreaming with an outsider. Some believe it cannot happen. Others say it is forbidden. Lena frowned. Forbidden? Why? Kale's voice grew quieter. Because it changes everything. To enter the dreaming means leaving behind the old life. It means a new path, a path not chosen lightly. Lena looked down, feeling the weight of his words. She was far from Earth, far from everything she knew. To stay here, connected to this strange and beautiful world, would mean giving up much. Do you think it is possible? She asked. Kale looked deep into her eyes. I believe it is. Because of you. Lena's heart raced. Me. You are different from others who have come here. You have a strength and kindness that the waterfall recognizes. But the choice is yours. You must decide if you are ready. Lena looked at the sparkling water, then back at Kale. I want to try, she said quietly. Kale's expression softened, but there was still a sadness in his eyes. Then you must be brave. The dreaming will test your heart. Lena smiled, a little nervously. I am ready. For a moment, they stood silently by the waterfall, feeling the cool mist on their faces. The water shimmered with light, as if it was listening to their words. Suddenly, Lena slipped on a wet stone again. Before she could fall, Kale caught her arm gently but firmly. The waterfall glowed softly around them, the light wrapping them like a gentle embrace. Lena looked up at Kale, feeling safe and warm despite the cool spray. I will not let you fall, Kale whispered. Lena smiled. Thank you. As the day passed, Lena and Kale talked quietly about the future. They shared stories of their lives, Lena of Earth's many skies and seas, Kale of Alaris, and the stories passed down through generations. Lena realized how much they had in common despite their differences. Both wanted peace, both wanted connection. Both were searching for something true. That evening, Lena sat by the campfire, looking up at the stars. She thought of the crystal, dreaming and what it might mean. Was she ready to leave her old life behind? Was she ready to follow Kale into the unknown? The night was calm, but her heart was full of questions. In the days that followed, Lena visited the waterfall every morning. Each time, the light seemed to grow stronger, as if the water was responding to their growing bond. One morning, Kale brought a small crystal to the waterfall. He handed it to Lena. "This is a gift," he said. "It holds a part of the waterfall's light. It will help you when you feel lost." Lena held the crystal carefully. It was cool and smooth, shining with soft colors. She felt a wave of calm wash over her. "Thank you, Kale," she said sincerely. He smiled gently. "You are welcome. Remember, the dreaming will come when the time is right." Lena nodded, clutching the crystal in her hand. She knew her journey was only beginning. The crystal dreaming was waiting, and with it, a choice that could change her life forever. As the sun set behind the forest, the waterfall sang its ancient song. Lena closed her eyes, listening to the sound of water and wind, feeling the promise of the future sparkling like the crystal light. She was ready to face whatever came next. The days passed quietly but with growing meaning for Lena. Each morning, she returned to the waterfall, her crystal gift clutched carefully in her hand. The light inside it pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. She felt a new strength in her chest, a calm courage that carried her through the long hours of exploration and study. Kale met her each day at the edge of the clearing. His presence was steady and kind, a quiet light in the changing world. They talked more now, sharing stories, hopes, and fears. Lena learned that Kale had watched over the waterfall for many years, keeping its secrets safe and waiting for the right moment. One morning, the forest was alive with the song of birds and the fresh smell of rain. Lena walked to the waterfall, feeling something different in the air, an energy that made the hairs on her arms stand up. Kale was already there, his eyes shining with a strange light. "Today," he said softly, "the dreaming may come." Lena's heart quickened. She had waited for this moment, but now that it was here, a nervous flutter filled her stomach. She nodded, swallowing the fear. "I am ready." Kale led her closer to the water. The mist was thick, sparkling in the morning sun. The waterfall roared, its clear water tumbling down the rocks like a river of stars. Kale reached out and touched the water. It shimmered, and then the surface began to change. Images appeared, memories, stories, and feelings all flowing together. Lena saw herself, standing at the edge of the water, and beside her, Kale, strong and gentle. The water glowed brighter, and the mist seemed to wrap around them like a soft cloak. Kale took Lena's hands in his, and this time, the connection between them was stronger, deeper. Their hearts beat together, steady and sure. Suddenly, Lena felt a light inside her, a warmth that spread from her hands to her whole body. The crystal in her palm pulsed with bright colors, blues, greens, and golds that danced like fireflies. The waterfall sang a new song, one that felt like hope and promise. Lena closed her eyes, letting the music fill her. When she opened them, she saw Kale's face close to hers, his eyes full of wonder. "The dreaming has begun," he whispered. Lena smiled, feeling tears of joy in her eyes. What happens now? Kale's smile was gentle. Now, we learn. We share our hearts with the waterfall. We trust it to guide us. For a long time, they stood there, hands joined, surrounded by the glowing water and soft mist. Lena felt a deep peace she had never known before. Then, the images on the waterfall changed. They showed moments from Lena's life, her family, her home on Earth, the dreams she had held close for so long. And alongside these, images from Kale's past appeared: his childhood, the stories of his people, the loneliness he had felt as the guardian of the waterfall. Lena understood then how much they had given up to be here, in this moment. She squeezed Kale's hands gently. "We are not alone," she said softly. "We have each other." Kale nodded. "The dreaming binds us together. It makes us stronger." As the sun rose higher, the light from the waterfall began to fade slowly. The mist cleared, and the forest grew quiet again. Lena and Kale remained close, feeling the new connection that had been formed. "I will show you more soon," Kale promised. "But for now, rest. The dreaming will grow." Lena knew she would never forget this day. The magic of the waterfall was real, and her heart was full. That evening, back at the camp, Lena shared some of her experience with her team, though she kept the most magical part secret. They listened with interest, amazed by the beauty of Alaris and the stories she told. But Lena's mind was with Kale and the waterfall. She held the crystal tightly as she fell asleep, feeling its soft light warm against her skin. In the days that followed, Lena and Kale continued their visits to the waterfall. The bond between them grew stronger, filled with trust and hope. They explored the forest together, learning about the plants and animals, and sharing moments of quiet happiness beneath the shining trees. One afternoon, Kale brought Lena to a hidden grove filled with glowing flowers and soft moss. It was a secret place, one he said was part of the waterfall's magic. They sat together in the shade, watching the light play on the leaves. Kale looked at Lena and said, "The dreaming is not just about us. It is about the future of this world. Together, we can protect it." Lena smiled, feeling the weight of their mission. She was no longer just an explorer. She was part of something greater, a story of hope, love, and light. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Lena whispered a promise to herself, and the journey to find the remaining crystals had been long and sometimes difficult. Lena and Kale had faced strange forests, glowing creatures, and the quiet fears that came with stepping into the unknown. Yet every challenge had only made their bond stronger, and the light within their hearts brighter. Now, standing once again beneath the crystal waterfall, Lena felt a deep calm inside her. The water sparkled like a curtain of stars, falling gently onto the stones below. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the soft hum of nature's song. Kale stood beside her, his crystal skin glowing softly in the light. He looked at Lena with a warmth she had come to trust more than anything. "We have all the crystals now," Kale said quietly. "Together, they hold the power to protect this land forever." Lena smiled, feeling the weight of their success and the promise it carried. "It feels like we've come so far. But I still wonder, what will happen next?" Kale's eyes reflected the waterfall's light. "The final step is to unite the crystals with the waterfall. Only then will the dreaming complete." Lena took a deep breath. She felt ready for whatever came next. They walked to the edge of the water, where the stones were smooth and cool beneath their feet. Lena held the crystals carefully, placing them one by one into the clear pool. As each crystal touched the waterfall glowed brighter, colors dancing across its surface like a rainbow. The mist rose higher, sparkling like a million tiny stars. Suddenly, the water's song changed. It became softer, sweeter, and filled the air with a feeling of peace. Lena closed her eyes and felt the warmth flow through her body. The light inside her crystal grew stronger, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. When she opened her eyes, she saw a vision in the water, a vision of the past and future intertwined. She saw the Alari standing together, their crystals glowing as they protected the land long ago. She saw Kale as a child, learning the stories and secrets of the waterfall. And she saw herself standing here now, a part of this story, connected by the light and the dreaming. Kale reached out and took Lena's hand. "The dreaming is complete," he said softly. "Because of you." Lena smiled, tears shining in her eyes. "Because of us." The waterfall's light wrapped around them like a warm embrace. Lena felt her heart open, full of hope and love. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, the water shimmered, and a gentle voice echoed through the clearing. It was the voice of the land itself, calm and strong. "Guardians of the crystal waterfall," it said. "You have shown courage, kindness, and truth. The light will always shine with you." Lena and Kale looked at each other, their faces glowing with joy. "We will protect this place," Lena promised. "Together." Kale nodded. "Together." As the sun began to set, the forest around them seemed to glow with a new light. The trees whispered softly, and the animals came closer, feeling the peace that had returned. Lena felt a deep connection to the land, to Kale, and to the future they would build. She knew she had found more than a place or a mission. She had found a home, a place where hearts could meet beneath the crystal waterfall. As the stars appeared in the sky, Lena and Kale sat together on a smooth stone, watching the waterfall's light dance like fireflies. They spoke quietly of dreams, of the days ahead, and of the bond that would never fade. The crystal in Lena's hand pulsed softly, a reminder of the journey they had shared. And beneath the sparkling water, the song of hope and love carried on, bright and endless as the stars above. To Kale, she would follow the path the waterfall showed her, no matter where it led. And deep beneath the crystal waterfall, their hearts beat together, shining with the promise of tomorrow. The days grew warmer, and the forest around the crystal waterfall seemed more alive than ever. Lena felt as if the world itself was watching her journey with Kale. Their connection was deeper now, a quiet understanding that needed no words. The crystal she carried glowed softly each day, a symbol of the bond they shared and the mysteries still waiting to be revealed. One morning, Kale arrived at the clearing holding something in his hand. It was a small, smooth stone carved with delicate symbols that sparkled faintly in the sunlight. "This is from the old times," Kale said quietly, handing the stone to Lena. "It holds a message. But the meaning is hidden." Lena turned the stone over, fascinated by the strange shapes. She had studied many languages on Earth, but these symbols were unlike anything she had seen before. "Do you know what it says?" she asked. Kale shook his head. "Not all. But the waterfall sometimes shows pieces of the past. If we listen carefully, we may understand." Lena smiled, feeling a new excitement. "Then we will listen." Together, they sat by the waterfall, the sound of rushing water filling the air. Lena closed her eyes and held the stone tightly. She thought about the connection between the water, the stone, and the light inside her crystal. Slowly, the waterfall began to shimmer again. The mist danced around them like silver threads, and images formed on the water's surface. Lena and Kale watched as scenes appeared: ancient gatherings beneath the stars, Ilari elders speaking in soft voices, hands raising the carved stones in quiet ceremony. One image showed a pair of crystals glowing brightly, shining with the same colors as the one Lena carried. Kale's eyes widened. The message is about the crystals. They are keys. Keys to protect the land. Lena looked at her crystal, feeling its warmth grow stronger. But who made the message? She asked. Kale thought for a moment. The first guardians of the waterfall. They knew a time would come when the land needed help. They left clues, hidden messages to guide those who listen. Lena's mind raced. Was the message a warning? A guide? She wanted to understand more. Then the waterfall's images shifted again, showing a dark shadow creeping over the land, wilting plants, and silencing birds. A warning of danger. Lena felt a chill. Is the land in danger now? Kale nodded slowly. The balance is fragile. If the light fades, the waterfall will stop singing. The land will suffer. Lena clenched her fists. She could not let that happen. What can we do? Kale's voice was calm but determined. We must find the other crystals. They hold the power to keep the balance. Together, they protect the world. Lena's heart pounded. A quest had begun, a search for these hidden crystals that could save Alaris. Where do we start? She asked. Kale pointed toward the forest. The first is hidden in the Valley of Lights, beyond the silver trees. It is a place few visit. Lena nodded, ready for the journey ahead. Then we should prepare. For the next days, Lena and Kale gathered supplies and made plans. They shared quiet moments under the stars, their friendship growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, Lena sat alone by the waterfall, holding her crystal close. She thought about the message, the quest, and the bond between her and Kale. She felt a deep hope rising inside her, stronger than fear or doubt. The crystal glowed softly, as if reminding her that she was never truly alone. The next morning, they set out together toward the Valley of Lights. The forest around them changed as they walked. Trees with silver leaves shimmered in the sunlight, and gentle creatures watched from the shadows. Lena felt the magic of the land surrounding them, alive and breathing. As they reached the valley, the air grew cooler, and the light seemed to hum with energy. In the center, resting on a stone pedestal, was a crystal glowing with soft green light, beautiful and pure. Lena stepped forward slowly and reached out to touch it. The moment her fingers brushed the crystal, a wave of warmth spread through her body. Images of the land, the waterfall, and her journey flashed through her mind. Kale smiled beside her. The first crystal is ours. One step closer to protecting the world. Lena looked at the glowing gem and felt the weight of the promise she had made. Together, they would find the remaining crystals and keep the balance alive. As the sun began to set behind the valley, Lena felt a quiet peace settle over her. The hidden message had led them here, and with each discovery, the light of hope grew brighter. She squeezed Kale's hand and whispered, "We will save this place. Together." Kale nodded, his eyes reflecting the glowing crystal's light. And beneath the crystal waterfall, the song of the land grew stronger, carrying a message of courage, connection, and the power of two hearts united. The journey to find the remaining crystals had been long and sometimes difficult. Lena and Kale had faced strange forests, glowing creatures, and the quiet fears that came with stepping into the unknown. Yet every challenge had only made their bond stronger, and the light within their hearts brighter. Now, standing once again beneath the crystal waterfall, Lena felt a deep calm inside her. The water sparkled like a curtain of stars, falling gently onto the stones below. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the soft hum of nature's song. Kale stood beside her, his crystal skin glowing softly in the light. He looked at Lena with a warmth she had come to trust more than anything. "We have all the crystals now," Kale said quietly. "Together, they hold the power to protect this land forever." Lena smiled, feeling the weight of their success and the promise it carried. "It feels like we've come so far. But I still wonder, what will happen next?" Kale's eyes reflected the waterfall's light. "The final step is to unite the crystals with the waterfall. Only then will the dreaming complete." Lena took a deep breath. She felt ready for whatever came next. They walked to the edge of the water, where the stones were smooth and cool beneath their feet. Lena held the crystals carefully, placing them one by one into the clear pool. As each crystal touched the waterfall glowed brighter, colors dancing across its surface like a rainbow. The mist rose higher, sparkling like a million tiny stars. Suddenly, the water's song changed. It became softer, sweeter, and filled the air with a feeling of peace. Lena closed her eyes and felt the warmth flow through her body. The light inside her crystal grew stronger, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. When she opened her eyes, she saw a vision in the water, a vision of the past and future intertwined. She saw the Alaris standing together, their crystals glowing as they protected the land long ago. She saw Kale as a child, learning the stories and secrets of the waterfall. And she saw herself standing here now, a part of this story, connected by the light and the dreaming. Kale reached out and took Lena's hand. "The dreaming is complete," he said softly. "Because of you." Lena smiled, tears shining in her eyes. "Because of us." The waterfall's light wrapped around them like a warm embrace. Lena felt her heart open, full of hope and love. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, the water shimmered, and a gentle voice echoed through the clearing. It was the voice of the land itself, calm and strong. "Guardians of the crystal waterfall," it said. "You have shown courage, kindness, and truth. The light will always shine with you." Lena and Kale looked at each other, their faces glowing with joy. "We will protect this place," Lena promised. "Together." Kale nodded. "Together." As the sun began to set, the forest around them seemed to glow with a new light. The trees whispered softly, and the animals came closer, feeling the peace that had returned. Lena felt a deep connection to the land, to Kale, and to the future they would build. She knew she had found more than a place or a mission. She had found a home, a place where hearts could meet beneath the crystal waterfall. As the stars appeared in the sky, Lena and Kale sat together on a smooth stone, watching the waterfall's light dance like fireflies. They spoke quietly of dreams, of the days ahead, and of the bond that would never fade. The crystal in Lena's hand pulsed softly, a reminder of the journey they had shared. And beneath the sparkling water, the song of hope and love carried on bright and endless as the stars above.